is up, sickos and filth animals? I'm Colby Marshall, and this is the Pickoff, powered by Bet Online and presented by Betting News at your Betting News on all social platforms. How are we doing? Happy Tuesday. I wish it was Friday. How about you? Obviously, we all wish it was Friday. Feels great. Yesterday, we didn't lose a single dollar, and we did not gain a single dollar, so I feel absolutely fantastic because we all know I don't know baseball anymore and I host a baseball show. So we have a great show. Hello, my dear sir, Mr. SBJ. Thank you so much for what I'm about to put up. The guest is really excited to see what you did. Yeah, if you didn't know, we have a special guest today, Danny Burke. The guy is the man. I went on his podcast yesterday. You can check it out. It's on my profile, and you can check it out on his Twitter account. We'll bring him up in a second. Can we get a Danny in the chat? Can we, come on, guys, come on, give it to it. Nobody, whatever, I'll do it, fine.
Y'all gon' make me act a fool. Hey, yo, what's my name?
What you
Y'all gon' make me lose my cool.
I've tried so hard,
What you really want? What you really want?
but it doesn't even matter. Come on,
Eddie, what is going on?
Oh, man. Colby, that was fantastic. I'm ready to run through a brick wall right now. Appreciate you having me on, my man. I'm ready for this. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, back-to-back days dealing with me, that can't always be the easiest, but I had to reach out. I wanted somebody on this week's show. I don't hate being alone on here, but I'd rather have someone to bounce off ideas and talk baseball and yada, yada, yada. Also, there's a lot of love in the chat right now by one specific person because his name is Daniel too. So
Oh, beautiful.
you love the same names. You gotta love it. I
The
never
more the
have
merrier.
that. I've never ran into, actually, I've only run into two people with my name. One was a 4-year-old girl when I worked at a grocery store. Her mom's like, you gonna tell him your name? And then I think another one, my brother had a friend that was a Colby, but then that was very short-lived. So not many out there. Hello, Prindy. Hello, sir. How's baseball been treating you this year?
Hey, are you talking to Prendy or me? But
You.
Okay,
No.
okay.
Prindy's more of an NBA guy. Prindy
All right,
only
fair
messages me for the home run Tuesday plays.
Fair enough. Hey, that's why we're all here, baby. But no, baseball, like we were talking about a little bit on the podcast yesterday, a very volatile sport in general. For me, it started out pretty good. By the end of April, I started to hit a little bit of a rut, but as we've progressed into May, it's getting a little bit smoother. Except yesterday, man, after we were talking, I know that I tweeted out the play that I had was the Astros on the run line. And Framber Valdez goes on to blow a 6-1 lead and has his worst performance of his entire career. So I've had a bundle of games that have felt like just that disappointment. It's been a mixed bag, but again, you kind of got to get through the first couple months and then you start getting into a good path of things. But man, there have been some bad beats to say the least, but that's what it is in Major League Baseball sometimes.
It's always enjoyable to see teams like the Angels who suck and like the Athletics beat on like the better teams. I mean, the Astros don't look great out the gate, but how come it always happens when, say, you and I are on those games? Like the layup games. Oh, this is a layup. No, it's not, because they scored 7 runs in the 5th inning.
Yeah, and it was insane, too, because last year, Reed Detmers was probably top 1 or 2 pitchers that I loved to fade, and it was going according to plan. He gave up 6 earned runs. That was arguably the more difficult part because you would think that you could rely on Framber Valdez. At worst, maybe he's going to give up 4 earned runs. Yeah, in the 5th inning, whatever, just absolutely implode. So again, just right when you think you got this thing figured out, as you said so perfectly yesterday, it just comes back and kind of kicks you in the behind. But again, we're looking to bounce back tonight. I'm excited to hear what you have, and you've incentivized me, you've motivated me, whatever it may be, to dabble into the prop scene more so, especially with the home runs on this windy day. So I'm very much looking forward to that as well.
I mean, I'll just kick it off with what I got since we're already talking about the game. The Astros, I am in love with this game. I'll start off with what I loved first off is Christian Javier strikeouts at 5.5. He's facing 7 hitters above the league K rate. This is a mouthful of a stat, so get ready, everybody. Buckle up. Pitchers with a 30% plus average hitter K rate matchup goes over this prop 65% of the time. He's only gone over this number twice this season. That does not bother me because I think yesterday was a bit of a fluke for the Angels. They're not a team that can score that many runs on a day in, day out basis. They're not good without Mike Trout. They're not good in general. And I think 5.5 at plus money is a solid value play right there. And also, I think it's the Astros on the run line. I think it's the Astros on a run line without a doubt. The Astros coming off that gross loss like we're talking about. Griffin Canning is horrendous, posting a 5.21 ERA with a 1.35 whip. Four of the 9 games Canning has pitched in, teams have won by 2+ runs. The Astros have 4 elite hitters, and their average hitter rating is great. So I think both of these plays, I wanted to not bet this and just stick with the K prop, but this was talking to me so much that I just had to pull the trigger. I like this a lot. I think they do bounce back. They're at home, and you got to feel like crap afterwards after losing to such a, again, terrible team like the Angels.
I was looking at this game, but I wonder if you fall into this trap as well. Would you suffer just kind of a disgusting beat like I did yesterday? I'm not saying it's a bad beat. It was just discussing the fact that one of the better pitchers in baseball blew a 5-run lead, right? So then I'm looking at this matchup, and I'm like, do I really want to go back to the well with the Astros once again? Because I agree with you. I think they're definitely the right side here on the run line. But it's one of those things where, okay, if I get involved again, hey, it wouldn't shock me if Javier just got absolutely beat up. And then if I stay away for the sake of everybody else, Houston will probably win like 9-2 or something like that tonight. Because you're right, Canning's been atrocious. 5.21 ERA. His xFIP's over 5 as well. You look at his skill interactive ERA, and for anybody who doesn't really follow along with that, it's kind of a true measurement looking back at his past performances and saying, hey, this is what his realistic ERA should have been. 4.93 is the number. So still in a very vulnerable state for Griffin Canning. And again, like you mentioned, Houston's kind of getting on their stride offensively. They got the momentum from yesterday knowing they can hit these guys. And again, their pitcher just let them down. But as long as Christian Javier can be stable enough, Houston should be able to cover the run line.
Now, you're a Chicago guy. If you couldn't tell for the viewers out there, just look behind Danny. It's everywhere. And I know you got to play in the north side. Give it to me.
All right. So this is a fascinating matchup at the Friendly Confines. As you very well know, I'm sure you walked outside, you felt the wind. Up on the north side there, by Wrigley Field, winds are going to be blowing out. I think it's like 18 miles per hour, or maybe 16, it looks like 16 miles per hour to left center field. We know how crucial these Wrigley winds can be. There's Twitter accounts dedicated to it. Charlie Morton is going to be taking the bump for the Atlanta Braves. It's very intimidating anytime you're facing the Braves. But then on the other side, you got Javier Assad, who's posting a 1.49 ERA right now. And I get the attraction to the plus money with the Cubbies because Assad has been a little bit better of a pitcher, more than a little bit, I suppose. But it's just that you kind of have this feeling, and I'm sure Cubs fans would feel the same. And you can look at his underlying metrics too, but that Assad may be due to get roughed up a little bit, kind of like Tyon was the other week. I think that could happen to Assad against one of the more, again, intimidating lineups in Atlanta. But the way that I'm going to handicap this, and this is what I was talking about when after talking to you, Colby, I got motivated to get involved in some of these home run props, especially with the wind blowing out. I narrowed it down to 2 guys, but I'm actually giving out one because I didn't like the price on Seiya Suzuki, who I love as a ball player, but he is like plus 410 was his number to hit it long tonight. And then 1.5 bases was minus 105. I'm circling out Michael Busch. Now, he's got 7 home runs on the year. He's plus 700 is the best number I saw to hit a home run tonight. He's hitting tremendous. Well, not tremendous. Let me say he's hitting a lot better against righties than he is lefties. It's about a 250 average against righties, and all 7 of his home runs have come against right-handed pitching. His batting average of balls in play against right-handed pitching, 352. His OPS, 811. Again, a sizable discrepancy when he's going against righties. as opposed to southpaw. So not only because of the wind blowing out, I get it, he's hitting lefty, but he can get that opposite power, especially with the gust of wind behind him. And I'm also taking him over a half a hit at -120. I feel like, again, you venture into this more than I do. Seldom do you see that cheap of a price.
You're
on
just
a
you're
half
just
hit,
spewing
right?
out value right now. Spewing.
Yeah.
Spewing it.
And yeah, so that was pretty much the last. The other thing I was going to point out is Morton's been a little bit susceptible to the long ball. He's given up a home run in each of his last 3 games. Home run to fly ball ratio now charting over 12%, which isn't terrible, but ideally when you're looking to back these pitchers, you want it sub 10%. So he is getting a little into the alarming territory. And with that wind blowing out, I like the value for Michael Busch. And then the hit's more of a security type of play, and just knowing that he's hitting pretty well against right-handed pitching.
Talk about value. That right there is the founder of batters-box.com that I was referencing yesterday.
I was looking at it today. Hey, shout out. I was getting a little bit of help from there. So yeah,
Thanks, money.
Good point out by you.
The value, like I said, like anytime there's a hit at this price or plus 100, to me it's usually worth it. Even if it, like, say they're not a bad matchup rating on batters-box.com, because you live and die by batters-box.com. Don't forget the hyphen. It's just worth it. Like, the 2 cents isn't that terrible to pay. And then 700, come on. Anything over 500 is well worth risking it.
Yeah, and again, especially with just these weather conditions right now, it's not like Michael Busch is traditional. I mean, he's a young guy, right? I mean, this is his full season coming from the Dodgers now to the Cubs, but he's displayed that power and he's hit a lot better at the friendly confines. And again, that right-handed matchup with the pitcher who's been giving up the home run. I mean, it's worth a quarter of a unit, like we talked about, right? You're not going crazy on these. You're just dabbling a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Busch could be a guy who gets a little sneaky jack here tonight. So that's what I'll be sweating out along with him, over a half hit. And again, really quick, Seiya Suzuki's been great against righties as well. 323 average as opposed to 143 against southpaws. 20 of his 24 hits have been against right-handed pitching. He hasn't hit that many times this season because he dealt with an injury, but still enough of a sample size to look at. He's gone against Morton 4 times, a pair of doubles. No, that doesn't mean he's going to have it happen again, but he's seen the ball fairly well against him in the past. So this could be a game where Suzuki does have a good effort as well. But again, I just wasn't in love with the price per se.
Yeah, you can get his H to the double R prop at -160 at 1.5. I would pair that with something like, you gave out great stats. Like I said, I will love something, but get talked out of it by the price. Like you said, the price for the base is -105. That's not awful, but it would be nicer if it was plus money.
Exactly. That's the thing, because, you know, you look at where his hits are too, like over a half hit. Some books have it as high as -$3, which certainly I'm not looking to lay. And just because he's gotten 2 doubles against him in the past doesn't guarantee anything. And, you know, also it's like, all right, maybe I would rather take the plus 410 as opposed to just the 1.5. There's a lot of ways you can go about it, but yeah, traditionally when I'm looking at these bases props, I want to at least try to get even money. That doesn't mean I'm blindly looking at it in that direction, but again, it's something that I'm nuanced with this season. So just, you know, slowly getting into it here, and yeah, we'll see if Michael Busch can deliver for us.
Like we mentioned with the Astros going back to the well, I'm going back to the well with Mr. William Contreras, who's gone 0 for 9 in his last 2 games. The last at bat he had yesterday was just pure luck. He somehow got lucked into getting another at bat and then flew out to the wall. And as soon as he did that, I'm like, I'm 1,000% just taking his bases for the rest of the series, because 1, the Marlins have an awful rotation. 2, the rotation is majority lefties, and William Contreras does very well against lefties. And just, I knew the price would be plus money, and I love the price right here. And he's numero 10 on batters-box.com. I knew he'd be up there. I knew the matchups would be just fine because of the lefty-righty situation. This is, I don't know if this is a system play. This is more of a, I feel like is it a spite? What would this be? It's not a spite. I'm not mad at him.
Right.
It's I guess it's another plum play. But also another plum play is the money line on the green book. The Brewers to get they have been screwed in the last two back-to-back games. They should have won the last two games. The price isn't terrible. They should be fine today because who's on the Trevor Rogers, horrid,
Nightmare.
horrible. The whole rotation's a nightmare. It's astonishing that they can get wins day in and day out, and those comeback wins are just they're kind of cool, but not unless you have the promo. You're not going to be enjoying anything against the Marlins. I think those two plays are great. I don't mind paying the price here at the money line, especially when I believe they will go up and win because we're sponsored by Bet Online, Danny, if you couldn't tell.
I like it. Hey, it's hard to get on the Marlins in any fashion, especially when a struggling lefty, like you said, and Rogers is taking the bump, who I've faded a couple times this year. And one of the times I did was actually that game where he went up against the Oakland A's, and I think the A's put up like 20 runs in that spot. So again, the fact that I had enough conviction to bet on the A's just shows you how poor Rogers has been this season. But I will say, speaking of this game, Colby, you said you're going back to the well. Are we not betting Lopez to get a home run? Are we off that train now?
No.
How's that working?
So I was looking at the stats yesterday. Now, Lopez is not a play today. I was looking at the stats. I'm an absolute moron for not taking his H to the double R prop every single time I went for his home run. Because, one, it was fantastic value. Two, I think he got it in almost every single game. He was a lead on battershythebox.com. And what am I doing just hoping for this massive parlay odd instead of trying to get the layups? That's another thing with I get too excited with baseball bets. I feel like I'm smarter and more disciplined in like football and basketball. But there's so much stuff that I like and so much value that I'm like, oh, I could totally get this. I get out of hand in the summer. It's the summer. Who wants to be held back in the summer? Yeah, yes, exactly. Look at like today. Look, come on. It's 85 outside. I want to bet everything that I can afford to bet on.
That is funny that you feel that way with Major League Baseball as opposed to, say, the NFL, because I guarantee a majority of bettors would be the opposite, right? Like NFL.
I don't like player props for the NFL.
Realize I love player props in the NFL, dabble with them in baseball. But again, in our conversation yesterday, which you brought up, which is absolutely true. I mean, the best part about baseball is you have so many data points available to you, right? All these advanced metrics allow you to, in a sense, gather a bigger edge than most other opportunities in these sports to bet. And especially with the NFL too. I mean, it's the most popular sport. So the books are going to have a little bit better edge and some of these props figured out, whereas opposed to Major League Baseball, 162 games, a dozen games a day. Yeah, it's not monitored as much. The lines ain't moving as frequently. So value to be had, as you would say.
Someone mentioned this today. I mean, do we just bet on ourselves today? As you're not really the Muzzian right now, but as a former Muzzy guy, we should be betting on ourselves today. Mr. David Schneider's number one.
I flopped. I flopped. I had it trimmed. I had a wedding this past weekend, so I had to trim it up a little bit. I apologize. That is completely on me. The next time we're on camera, like we said, it'll be back. We'll get it going. I got to step up my game. I'm ashamed right now.
First of all, I do have to say that graphic for your pod, who did that? I really liked it.
Well, speaking of, I guess, weddings in a sense, it was actually my brother-in-law when he was giving out gifts for groomsmen. He went to some website where they made it in that kind of caricature in that kind of cartoon, whatever you want to call it. And he put it on like the mugs where you can freeze and, have beer, have whatever beverage you want in there. But then he had the picture on there, but he still had the JPEG saved. So I was like, this would be a pretty good idea to use for the podcast logo. So luckily it just worked out nicely and I didn't have to do too much work for it.
It's unique. I was like, I've never seen this before, but it is that caricature-esque look to it. I'd love to know who has a better number against the pitchers that. There you go. They came late, Danny. They came late. The people need to know it's Michael Busch to get a hit, and if you're feeling psychotic, Michael Busch to go yah.
Right. Yeah, you got to be feeling psychotic, no doubt. I know Tachman was actually a popular pick as well. I saw some other people taking a stab with him. The nice thing about Talkman, and with the wind blowing out to left center field as a lefty, he does hit it oppo a lot, especially when he's going yard. And maybe he was like plus 550, plus 600, somewhere around there. I don't hate the idea of Talkman. I just like the little bit better number there with Michael Busch. And yeah, again, I'm not going too crazy with them, so only doing the one, but no issue with Talkman going yard if you feel comfortable in that direction too.
Talkman to go yard is 680 on the blue book. Him to record a hit, minus 192 on the old Roman Empire app. You parlay Mr. Bush and him together, you're definitely getting decent price.
That would be something.
It's decent. That's probably, I would say, what, 140 maybe, if we're lucky, if I'm good with odds and how they work, if I've done it enough. I don't have the parlay odds brain.
It's probably, if for both of them to get ahead, if you're getting like minus 120, yeah, it's probably a little bit better than that, I'd say. Probably close to like minus 110 or so if you're getting the best price. So.
Hey, if that cashes for you, have it. You could call off tomorrow. You could certainly call off.
Oh, man.
Jesus.
We're going to have to do the old, if Michael Busch hits 2 home runs tonight, we're all getting his jersey. That's solidified, right? That's got to be part of the deal.
I can't wait for that to be such a niche jersey. If, say, this does happen. If Michael Busch has like the name that you feel like he's like 4 years or 5 years from now, who's your favorite Cub? And it's like, oh, Michael Busch because of blah, blah, blah.
Like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that guy. He was good.
Yeah, like Bodie. It just gives the Bodie energy.
Right. Same energy as Bodie's walk-off. It's going to be the same thing as if we get 2 home runs from Michael Busch tonight.
What? I'm looking it up. I got to look. I got to see what it is for 2 home runs. Davis and Willie bases parlay sounds good. That would be like plus 200 or more at least. That'd be 2. I don't know what Davis's is at the off the top of my head. But Michael Busch to go yaya twice is 2+ home runs. You can get a nice, cool, crisp plus 9500. If you put 5 on that, you could probably take a half day tomorrow.
To be the first home run hit, about 15-1 as well. If you're still, want a little bit better value, but you're hoping no one else gets out before he does. And that one's definitely more sketch just because of how much the wind is blowing out. And if he's put at the bottom of the order, I don't know if the Cubs put out their lineup officially yet. Yeah, a little dicey, but something to consider.
I would just like to give a thoughts and prayers out to the founder of Batters Box. He bet the under in the F5 for the Cubs game today, not knowing about the wind and I guess not the temperature, as if he doesn't live in the city. So thoughts and prayers to Michael Montgomery, you poor SOB. Danny, I know you got one more play, and it's on the old RL. What is it?
Yeah, so full disclosure, I had my original bet today that I wrote up about it. It involved the Mets and I can't even remember who I'm betting. The Guardians, sorry. It's already out of my mind, out of sight, out of mind. Yeah. Carlos Carrasco in his revenge game against his former ball club, and in turn, he's put on the IL for 15 days. So I didn't see anything when I was looking at that. He was still as a listed pitcher. So important, remember all you bettors out there, to use listed pitchers because the majority of your handicap is probably going to revolve around the starters. So if you fall into an incident like I do, then you get your bet voided. So nothing going on with that one. Then I'm scavenging in the Orioles and Cardinals matchup here, looking to fade Lance Lynn tonight. He surrendered 12 earned runs throughout his last 3 games. We talk about wind conditions. There in St. Louis, it's going to be the same deal. I think there it's about 18, 20 mile per hour winds to left field. The Cardinals did get the job done against Baltimore last night, 6-3, but I like Baltimore to bounce back tonight on the run line. Runs are to be expected, wind blowing out. And again, I mentioned Lynn has not been doing great. 4.17 ERA. His expected ERA at 4.49. His xFIP around that 4.40 mark. And he's also putting about 4 batters on base. He's walking 4 batters per 9 innings. So he's making it so much more difficult on himself than he needs to. high fly ball ratio of 40%. Again, that plays into the win. Potentially the long ball is going to be a factor all game long for Baltimore. And then you got Kyle Bradish taking the bump for the Orioles. Now, he's only pitched in 13.2 innings this season so far. He's given up 4 earned runs. His ERA is 2.63. His expected ERA a little bit lower than that, 2.42. Low line drive percentage of 14%, which is solid to see. High ground ball rate of 57%. It's a tad dicey looking at a pitcher with a small sample size like Bradish. Usually once they get to that third start, that's when I start to really dive into it. So he just gets barely over the threshold there in terms of what I like to look at. But you also got to count the fact that the Orioles have a really reliable bullpen right now. So if Bradish does get beat up a little bit, I think the bullpen can save face enough, assuming the offense of the Orioles will bang up Lance Lynn. And then this St. Louis bullpen it's average right now. They've been susceptible to giving up the long ball as well. Their home run to fly ball ratio at around 13%. So I got plus 112 at an outlet here in Illinois. And yeah, I'd look at the run line for Baltimore if you're looking for any late action tonight.
We got Gunnar Henderson love. I was looking at Gunnar earlier. I like everything about him today. It's just the price. There's no good price. I'm not laying 2 hits. I wouldn't lay 2.5 bases. I mean, that would probably be the closest thing I would lay. But yeah, they have their highest rated hitter, the Cardinals, is above or below 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Orioles. Their best rated hitter today on Batter Siphon Box is below 8 Orioles. So you have basically the whole lineup has a better matchup rating against Lance Lynn than the next Cardinal, who is Goldschmidt against Bradish. That's how good of a day it should be, and this bet should be just fine. What's the money line on the Orioles?
They were about minus $1.50. They've been moving throughout the day. I think maybe they opened
best
around
price
like
is minus 155. I wouldn't hate if someone out there still has the up 2 promo. I wouldn't hate it for them.
Yeah, I'm not going to judge anybody for, the little bit more security there in terms of going with the money line. Just the fact that runs are to be expected here. We see the total moving in the market as well from 8.5 to 9, and then some juice on the over. Again, it means there's going to be more room for scoring, thus more of a realistic chance. Whoever wins is going to win by more than 1. And I'd rather, just put the 1 unit to win the 1.12 as opposed to laying, if you're someone who does, laying 1.56 to win a flat 1. So again, it's all about how your process goes down. But yeah, I still like the Orioles, obviously, in that sense, if I like them on the run line. Colby, I did want to ask you something, though, because we were talking about Gunnar Henderson and his prop, a little bit too expensive. You're someone who gets into this space a lot with the props.
You gonna ask about this?
No, I'm not gonna ask about a hit parlay, but I am gonna ask about in-game betting. Say, for example, Henderson, his first bat up there, he gets out, right? He's 0 for 1. And then you look at the in-game prop number next time he's up to get a hit. I mean, do you monitor that? Are the prices adjusted heavily? Because I feel like if you really like Henderson, you don't love the price, and it's going to adjust if he gets out that first at bat. Maybe that's the way to approach it.
I don't think I've ever live bet a hitter prop. I might have, but I think I just would get so scared, and if it like hit the first time, be like, oh, I would get like addicted to it. So I feel like it's a safer route personally for me not to do that. But I can definitely monitor. I'm actually now curious what it would be if, say, he's minus 250 to get just a hit, which he's not. It's definitely way higher than that, north of that. But say it drops to minus 150, would I be more susceptible to laying that price? With Gunnar Henderson, I would 1,000% lay 150 on him to get a hit if it was after his first at bat. But
right.
I would only if for anyone that is interested in doing something like that, I would. Oh, Monty says yes. Monty's also a sicko. Super side note. Then I'll go back to what I was going to say. Monty one time had 40 bets in one day for baseball. 40.
How did he end up?
I think he made money, which I would never have the plums to do that. But back to Gunnar. I would definitely lean towards doing it with someone that's a star who's in the top 5 batting order than somebody who's like maybe Jake Rogers, who's
exactly
batting 8th, 7th, ninth sometimes because you're only getting 3 at bats. In reality, you're probably getting 3 decent at bats if they're at the bottom of the order. Other than that, you don't want to risk it.
Yeah,
It's mostly all about opportunities, and you're not going to get them.
For sure. And also monitor with those things too, or at least rather be cognizant of how the game tempo is going. Because if they're on the home team, they're losing, you're going to potentially get that extra at bat in the bottom of the ninth, as opposed to being the away team who's winning. So with the Orioles, if that's the case, being on the road could be a little bit tougher to get that done. But again, it really just depends on the situation. And yeah, I was kind of curious if anybody out there does that, because again, I'm not someone who's in love with baseball props. I'll do it occasionally. If I did it more so, I definitely monitor it in game. I think the only time I have is when we've been at the game, when you and I were talking on my show yesterday, when I'm looking to bet those home run props.
Yeah.
Because I know those definitely get better, certainly as the game goes on, because you get smaller opportunity to hit one out of the park. So I would imagine the same would be the case with a hit or total bases if they still offer that in game.
Have you ever bet like next inning, first pitch will be a ball or a strike? You ever done that?
I'm not that crazy, but I do have friends who do that, and thankfully
That's
they
a
do
thrill.
it, so I don't have to do it, right? You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
if
yeah,
they
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
do it, I didn't see how crazy it was. Like,
Yes!
I know it's crazy. I'd still get involved with them. I'm sure most people have, and no judgment here.
Yes, they
I'm
get
sure
it.
it's
They get
electric.
it. Only sick animals come on this show. Strictly sickos.
The sick bets that I've been doing just casually, again, this is more for fun, is a lot of these regulated books during the NBA playoffs, they're offering a bet on like the number of slam dunks from the 10-minute mark to the 7-minute mark. Luka Doncic to give an assist to Kyrie Irving from the 7-minute mark to the 4-minute, something insane like that.
I love
and
that.
There's actually good value, I mean, relative value. I'm saying it's a good price, an intriguing price. It's not anything that there's really a basis of a legit handicap behind, unless you're following the game pretty closely and you get a good idea. But it's something that I've noticed, and my buddy and I have been, we've been doing a little bit of that here and there. So that's kind of the sicko bet I've been doing lately.
Offers it? Just say the color. You don't have to say the name.
Blue and white.
Of course, the blue book has that.
Yeah.
Next time you lay one of those, you got to let me know. I will definitely ride it blindly with you.
I will do. Yeah, no doubt.
I got 2 more plays, and then we could ramble about whatever and get over to my favorite thing, the Immaculate Grid. But my last 2 plays, we got Yusei Kikuchi. Definitely going to give him a big old smoochie if he cashes this for me. Over 5.5 strikeouts. The price, a little juicy, but the White Sox have allowed 4 straight starters to go over this number. And here we go. The big juicy stat that Monty told me about today. Michael, this one's for you. Pitchers with 28% or more average hitter matchup K rate goes over this number 62% of the time. He's gone over it 5 of his 9 starts this season. He doesn't have a really good matchup on batter side for box because he's given up so much hard contact in years past, but he's having a great season. He's someone who's been maybe serviceable, if you will, the last few years. He's having a great year, and I think 5.5 at that price is a solid lay.
I like that too. I mean, I was looking at some
It's
of
the
his
White
game
Sox.
log right
It's
now.
the White Sox.
Right. That's pretty much all the assessment you need. White Sox are bottom 10 in terms of strikeout percentage against southpaws as well. So again, just a little.
They're terrible on the road. They're
added
terrible against lefties. What else do we need? Of course, it'll be a White Sox masterclass today. Yeah, it'll be. This will be this will be my Angels for you yesterday.
Oh God,
we're gonna get screwed.
Dude.
It's gonna happen.
I was actually looking to fade the Sox today too, but they finally have their one competent pitcher taking the bump tonight, and Coach J. Wright, he's taking over. What? So I mean, that's kind of the one thing that would scare me a little bit. But again, it's just hard to justify ever not fading the White Sox on a day-to-day basis. But it was a relatively cheaper price on the Blue Jays, all things considered.
Yeah, I was curious what the Nerfy was in that game. It's minus 148. I'm not laying that for a Nerfy.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten into Nerfies?
Yeah, I do a lot. Well, not a lot, but I do fairly frequently. I usually trend more toward the Nerfy, though. Seldom am I going to bet the Yerfy. And it's not that I'm against it. It's more so, again, when I'm looking at my handicapping strategies with these pitchers, it's going to revolve around two what I think to be trustworthy pitchers. And I want to me, it's still baseball is one of the harder sports, right? Coming across runs is very difficult to do. So I have that mindset to where for someone to score in the first inning just seems like a tough hill to get over. I realize the percentages don't always back that up, but that's why I'm very, very quality over quantity with my Nerfies, but definitely err more to the side of the no run as opposed to the yes run.
Can we just give this guy a round of applause for being absolutely disgusting? Paul,
you gotta get one of them to come through.
Paul, I hope you don't have to go to work tomorrow. I bet a Nerfie 2 weeks ago, I think, and I think I'm forever done with them because I swear to God, this inning will never, ever, ever happen again. It was the Giants and I think the Reds, and the Reds were the ones that screwed me. I think so top half of the inning, perfectly fine. Or whatever. I don't remember what part it was. But first batter, ball hits him. They throw it right in his face. Goes to first. Ellie De La Cruz, no, it was the top half, I think. Ellie De La Cruz lines out. That's one out. They walk the next guy. The next guy gets a hit. Walks the next guy. Bases are loaded now. And they strike out another guy. Then the next guy, I think with a full count, hits it to the wall. The center fielder dislocates his shoulder, basically dies on the field, and the Yerfie cashes in.
Oh.
This would never happen. This would never happen if I just was casually watching the game.
Right.
I'm like, this is just the most cursed bet.
You know what happens with those two? If you were to get out of that inning, though, like the first batter of the bottom half would have hit a home run. I've had that happen a lot where you just sweat out the entire top half. You're like, okay, now we got that over with. Just get 1, 2, 3. And then it just all goes to crap immediately. And you're like, you know what? I probably deserve to lose that one anyways. That is brutal. And he can't be too pissed about it probably on social media because the poor guy's shoulder's out of his pocket. So you got to be a little tame, right? And you're like, yeah, what's really important here? But you know Jared Smith, right? For working at VC. Yeah.
He makes Nerfy parlays, but he takes one team to not score and then like other teams not to score. Like I honestly might start doing that instead because you can definitely tell or have a feel for who's definitely not scoring in this half of the inning or which half of that inning. So I like that more. I'm just curious. I never looked at the juice, so I would be really mad if it's like minus 250 or 300 for one of them. Yeah.
And that's the thing too. Again, a lot of the times with the Nerfies, and again, why I don't get involved so much is because they charge you a price on it, right? They know the majority of the people betting them are probably going to bet the Nerfies, so they're charging you that tax on it. And if it's anywhere over minus 130, I'm not going to play it. If it's at 130, I got to really love the play. But they're exciting. I mean, that's a thrilling play, and it's nice if you like the first 5 under, but again, maybe you have a little bit of skepticism, then you only have to sweat out just the first inning. I get when you're doing the first 5, you have grounds to recover after. Sometimes it's a nice alternative just going with the first inning.
There has been questions about a parlay, and yes, Danny, you get to witness the old Silly Goose parlay. Here it is. Silly Goose parlay is Dodgers plus 1.5. In Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani each to get ahead at plus 140, both top 10 in batters-box.com, facing my boy, Brandon Pfaadt. He has a solid fastball this season. The rest of his pitches are below league average. They're not great. Elite hitters versus Pfaadt this season, or overall, get a hit 68% of the time. The Dodgers' average hitter is elite today. 4 Dodgers hitters are elite. And only 3 hitters are above the K rate. I think this is a pretty safe play and a great price. If I was shocked I was getting such a great price. Oh, I put Dodgers money line. Whoops, that's a typo. Honestly, you probably get a way better price on Dodgers money line. That's a typo by me.
Wait. You're fading your boy Brandon Pfaadt tonight?
Yeah, I was waiting for this to come up. Yes. I'm wholeheartedly fading Brandon Pfaadt.
Man. You know
that $1.50 is getting thrown away.
Yeah. Oh, I might have to take the Diamondbacks out of principle now, Colby. Are you kidding me?
You should
I mean-
take them on the. You should take them on the alt run line at -1.5.
That's not a bad idea. Oh man, he's
For the
coming
people
off
that
of
aren't
a good
aware,
performance.
I bet
Yeah,
Brandon
tell us.
Pfaadt to win NL Cy Young at +30,000. I put $1.50 on it. The reason, people, the reason he was lights out and a huge reason why the Diamondbacks went to the World Series last year. I don't know why he was still in the playoff rotation, but he was there and he was electrifying. Meanwhile, I faded him every single time he started during the regular season. Yeah, he gets it. He knows. And I thought his sophomore year would be a turnaround year for him. In the price, I'm laying $1 on him to win, what, $300, right? Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, 30,000. It's a long shot. It was a long shot. I wrote it as a long shot. It was never for real, for real.
I admire the play, and I'm trying to see right now how the market's looking a little bit on this. I think the Diamondbacks are actually getting a little bit of love in the market. I think their plus money's received a tad bit of action at some outlets. So who knows, man? I'm rooting for your SGP to win, of course.
Thank
You know how these things go. You know how they go.
Oh,
you know
come
that
on.
Brandon Pfaadt's going to pitch a gem. So
Yeah,
maybe we root for
masterclass.
that. We root for that, but then we get the Dodgers to do something after he gets pulled out of the game. So it's a win-win for you, ideally.
Quality art. It's all we need. Don't look at the record. Just don't look at the record. Just don't look at the record.
Exactly.
Danny, I think it's the greatest time ever to play my favorite game on Tuesdays, the Immaculate Grid. Hopefully, everybody who usually loves the Immaculate Grids in the chat, if you're not, please call on them because they need to get in here and help us out. Let's get into it. The Immaculate Grid. Oh, I took it off. There we go. All right, let me move this down. All right. So we got the San Diego Padres and the Braves. And then you got the Brewers. The Brewers. This is going to be gross.
So, full disclosure, I never really play this. I get the idea of it.
Really?
But, yeah. I've done it a couple times, and I get my butt kicked every time. So, as a kid, I would have been a lot better at this.
Oh,
But
I try to think of
so-
the most 2,000 players. So I guess we'll start out easy. 40+ WAR. It can't be Chipper Jones. Can't be Hank Aaron. Who's a Brave stud? I'm not doing Andrew Jones. I don't think he ever got it.
Freeman should work.
Ooh, do we want to? That's definitely an easy one. You try to get the really hard ones. Who would it be for the Brewers? Would Fielder work?
Fielder would be my first guess.
I'll lay it with Fielder because he's just
okay.
the best. Ah, damn it!
Really?
Ah, I don't think he played long enough.
I guess so.
Played third base.
Yeah,
Josh Donaldson. That's easy. People forget.
I mean, Yelich definitely qualifies, but again, if you're trying to, there we go. Nicely done.
Third base, not George Brett. Who's a third baseman who played third base when they won at the World Series?
Was it Moustakas?
Moustakas?
Was there a couple years ago at least?
Oh, we could have used Donaldson here too. Damn it.
Yeah. We got Chipper Jones there as well.
One game, though. It could be someone who's moved over. That's the beauty.
Yeah.
It could just be such people who can get like a really niche. It blows my mind how they do it every time. I guess we'll put Moose. Please. All right, I'll live with that.
Here we go.
Anything under 30, I can live with. Beltran.
Nice. Let's see it.
Yes.
There we go.
He's such a forgotten about player, and he's one of my favorites as a kid. It's got to be Yount. I'm not going to. Damn it. Not Chipper,
Yeah,
not Hank. There's got to be one more and it's not, can't be the three. Freeman.
Yeah, no Freeman.
Damn.
Well, I know Maddox qualifies for the top left, but
we got somebody said Eddie Matthews. I'll ride with that.
All right, roll it.
Wait, I'm gonna go with this one. Yeah, you
There we go.
sicko.
There we go.
Sicko. I'm surprised that's so high. I feel like 5% is super high. I don't even know who that is. Who played for San Diego and the Braves?
Yep. So Matt, again, besides Maddox, I'm struggling to think. Maddox was there briefly, and then Brewers, Padres.
dude.
You got Hader,
Yeah.
but again, that's pretty. I don't know.
Yeah,
how
that's
obvious
definitely
it
going to
is,
be a
though.
high one. Padres and Royals. Padres and what does WAR mean? Wins above replacement. Oh my God. This
Also,
one's gonna
whoever
be the
said
hardest
shout
one.
out to MLB The Show, that's like when I was a kid, I was so much better at all of the baseball trivia, but I stopped playing like once I got into high school. So then, it's just from my betting
Yeah.
knowledge now, but I could have named everybody in the league growing up because of that game.
Oh my God, same. I had for my 10th birthday, I think, I got all of the baseball cards for like the 06 season. So like that big
Mhm.
thing,
Yeah,
that like
yeah.
brick where you'd be look like a cigarette box if it wasn't
Right,
baseball
right. A
cards.
big old carton. Yeah.
Oh my God. I knew everybody. Let's do
Mhm.
Maddox. Let's do Maddox. Screw it.
All right, run it.
Not Gary. Greg. Maddox. Not bad. Not
Okay.
bad.
Okay.
Not bad. I want to say Andrew Jones because it's so. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Yeah, I don't mind that. It's better than going with
Yes.
Freeman.
Yes.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
All right, chat. All right, chat. I need somebody to think for this one because I have no idea. This
Yeah,
one
I'm
we could
lost
always.
there.
Oh, we only have one left. Who can
Ooh.
think of the most niche player to ever play for those two teams? Either or. I will take anybody in the comments that says it. The first person that says a name, it goes on. And it cannot be Hater. Come on. They're talking about tramp stamps instead. Come on. Come on. Oh, God. Royals and the Padres. I never know anybody from the Royals.
I know. I'm really struggling thinking.
Honestly, I feel like
the Royal
Moustakas
side,
would have been a
too.
good one. Didn't he? He definitely played for the Padres, didn't he?
I
I can see him in the jersey. Hunter Renfroe, Royals.
Oh,
Padres.
yeah. Renfro's not bad.
Hunter Renfroe. Boom. 3%. I'll take it.
Nicely done.
I'll take it. Ooh, I thought that'd be higher.
Oh, yeah. They got Hader there. Yep.
Of course. Eric Hosmer. Jeez. Oh, I think that's who I was thinking of.
Oh, yeah. Hosmer would have been good, too.
I knew this one was the toughest one. I don't understand what that is. Well, I love playing that every single time. Danny, this has been great. I appreciate you coming on. This time is all for you. Tell everyone about yourself, where they can find you, what you're doing, what's new with you, and whatever you want to tell them. I'm all ears. This is your time, sir.
All right. Yeah. On Twitter at DannyBurke5. You can check out my website, burkspeed.com, doing sports bets and analysis in general every single day. Baseball, basketball, football when it comes back around. But yeah, plenty of coverage with the NBA postseason. Just did an article with some series bets that I tweeted out. Should be pinned to the top of my Twitter page. Just did that today. And obviously the Eastern Conference Finals start in a little bit. So get yourself ready with that. Podcast. Colby was just on it last night. Make sure you give that a listen. You can check it out. You search Burke's Beat. You get Apple, Spotify. Yeah, you get this duo back at it, baby. But Colby, I appreciate you having me on, my man. It was a blast. The chat's awesome. I'm just hoping, I'm praying that we get Michael Busch and Mike Tauchman to go yard for us tonight.
Yes.
That's all I'm asking.
I'll run through them again. Obviously, the Michael Busch home run. We're all on that. Everybody's on that. Obviously, the hit. Let's put the safety belt on. You'll be just fine.
Right.
Safety
Exactly.
safety first. Orioles on the run line. The silly goose parlay. Dodgers plus 1.5. Not money line. I'm sorry, I'm not the brightest today. I didn't mean to put money line. Freeman Ohtani hit plus 140. Mr. Kikuchi over 5.5 strikeouts. He's going up against the White Sox. Then you have the Astros on the run line. It's a bounce back day. Christian Javier over strikeouts. Brewers on the money line. Bet online. Make sure you sign up for the QR code. William Contreras over is 1.5 total bases. Those are the plays. Everybody, let's have a Tuesday. Let's sweep, and let's keep having a fantastic week. Woo!
What you know about rolling down in the
Riding in the deep.
down in the
Now I know we all be loving this shit
What
right
you know
here.